I think I'm taking myself down a path, Tyler. Best grilled chicken sandwich.
Oh. All right.
Best grilled chicken sandwich. Everybody wants to do fried.
Sure.
And I've had to be on a bit of a kick with my health here for eating protein. And so I've gone down more of a path of the grilled chicken sandwiches. So I've had 2 back-to-back, essentially, last night. And then coming in for lunch, Chick-fil-A last night, Bojangles just now.
Sure.
You got a suggestion on a grilled chicken sandwich?
I'll say this, not a shameless plug. We'll be out there tomorrow for our watch party for the game. O'Hara's. Very good grilled chicken sandwich.
I was going to go with their wings. I was going to lead into their wings. Their chicken wings, which not what I'm talking about, but they're smoked chicken wings. Really are second to none if you're going out there. Of course, I don't know. Are wings okay at 7:30 in the morning? Or are wings good at any time?
So we'll be in studio for the pregame show.
Gotcha.
We'll have our watch party like normal at noon when the game kicks off. And, yes, the full menu. Now, they do have O'Hara's Bakery right down the street for breakfast stuff.
That's right.
Which I highly recommend. Got a really good cinnamon roll there if you want to check that out.
Ask for Miss Leslie Gandy. She runs it. She is phenomenal. She will make sure you can mention my name. Make sure she's taking care of. She runs that shop. She can bake. Oh my goodness, can she bake? And Leslie is an incredible person. And you're right, the O'Hara's Bakery in Lexington is a hidden gem.
Yep, they got you covered. So excited to be out there tomorrow, and hopefully we got a fun game to watch. We'll see.
We'll talk about that a lot today. My intrigue. Now I've contradicted myself, Tyler. I've contradicted myself.
Okay.
And I feel ashamed. I am embarrassed. I should be punished. I mean, I should be.
Where's that wheel, by the way?
We got to get it. I know.
The wheel.
You got to hammer me on that this weekend. I will go get one. Got to get one. Because I should be spinning the wheel of fun. You should. 803-404-6100. If you come up with a punishment for me when I tell you what I did, I will do it for the next 2 hours.
All right.
Or else we'll do it on Monday. I deserve for what I'm about to tell you. Okay. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad sports person what I am. And so 803-404-6100. If y'all come up with something about 1 o'clock, I will follow through for it. I sent in my picks to thebigspur.com. Now, what have I said all week?
You've been pushing for the upset. You've been spinning the yarn of Carolina's ability to go in there and win this game. I'm assuming that wasn't what your pick was.
28-24 A&M.
Well, what happened?
I started writing. You want to know what happened? This is true. This is dead honest. And again, send in your suggestions. I should be, when you say something, you stick with it. I started writing a little preview, and I got caught up in these fourth quarters that South Carolina has blown.
Yep.
And I can't get it out of my mind, Tyler. I don't think the new offense necessarily fixes it. I don't know how I can do it now to justify that I picked the upset thing. I guess I can't. I think South Carolina's got a great chance. I think South Carolina's got a much better chance than 17.5 or 18.5, whatever the spread is at. But, yep, if you read thebigspur.com, I think I got it in on time to John Whittle this morning. Try not to get too wordy with him. I've gotten several reprimanding emails that I type out too many words. But, yep, Tyler, I wanted to pick my upset. But the fear of what we've seen, I don't know if you can change that after 9. You can change the offense.
Sure.
But I don't know if you can change who you are in terms of blowing games the way South Carolina has in the fourth quarter.
That's the thing about something like that persisting throughout a season. If something happens once, whatever, it's an anomaly, you can excuse it. If it happens twice, like, okay, it's a little worrisome. When it's happening multiple times throughout the year, and again, we're 3 games away from the season being over at this point in time, it just becomes a part of your identity. Now, yes, part of the reason for that is your offense not being able to hold up, and eventually your defense, as well as they play, eventually has to collapse because they just have so much pressure on them. Been out there for a lot of plays and gone up against some really good offenses this year. So I put it's certainly the defense on the field that is causing these things to happen, but the offense does have an effect on that too. So it's a collaborative team effort. And look, we've talked about. I said yesterday, I'm dying to see what this very offense looks like 24 hours from now. Again, I hope they win the toss and elect to receive so we can see it right off the jump. But I don't know how much different it can be to where, again, we're talking about a team that had not eclipsed 350 yards of offense in a single game this year, struggling to score over 20 points. They'd only done it twice, so far this year. And I don't really know if Furry being the play caller suddenly changes those things. Could be a little bit better in some areas, but I don't know if it's enough to go out there and pull off an upset on the road against the number 3 team.
I think that the offense will be, I don't know how you want to define significantly, but I think it's going to look different. I will make the call on this. And this is a really good defense. And Mike Elko is a very good defense coordinator and has very good defense players to go along with being a very good defensive coordinator. South Carolina gets 350 tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll call that.
All right.
I'm not saying they're going to explode for 500. It might be 351.
Hey, it's better than what it has been.
I say South Carolina gets 350. You can't. Now, what my concern has now become, and we've talked about this, he hadn't played well, but the injury report comes out last night. Nothing shocking, but Josiah Thompson is on there. That didn't, okay, fine, whatever. But Jatavius Shivers is on there. Casey Henry's out.
Yes.
We're starting to run out of tackles here.
Yeah, the offensive line math ain't really adding up at this point. I know with Shetzerat had to come in and play some left tackle in reprieve of Josiah Thompson the other week against Ole Miss, so you can shift some things around. But look, you've already had your issues at offensive line, and you're going up against the best havoc front seven pretty much in all of college football this weekend. So even if Thompson plays, him not being at 100%, I'm like, all right, you're already going to have a tough enough time. You at 150% versus Cassius Howell is always obviously going to be a mismatch still, but you give him out there at 80%, I don't know what's going to happen, man.
Yeah, the injury report by and large was fine for South Carolina last night. No shockers in there, but Josiah Thompson is banged up. I believe he was questionable last night. Now, I will say this, and I can't pronounce his name. No shocker there, right? But is it Damola?
Damola Ajudahan.
Ajudahan. Oh, thank you. Very good. That's actually not that hard. Ajudahan.
Wes said it like 20 minutes ago, so it's still fresh on my mind.
Excellent. Way to go, Wes Mitchell. Thank you. I wonder if you go with him. He's played. I don't know what the number of games he's played in. Last I saw, I think he was up around 50 when we did our snap count. I can't believe this week.
He's played in 4 games, so this would be you're burning a red shirt if you play him. But, I mean, if you have no other choice, then you kind of have to at this point.
You're probably trying to hold it, but at the same time, it feels like we're using him for little plays. So he wasn't get the 55 plays he got was not garbage time plays.
Right.
So he has some kind of role in the offense. 803-404-6100. We're going to get a lot more into that. Men's basketball. I want to weigh in on this. This is just fascinating to me. And I don't want to insult anybody. That's not my goal of what I'm trying to accomplish. I don't know how to gauge Lamont Paris's recruiting.
Okay.
Because I don't feel like it's been good. At the same time, he's probably done as good of a job as anybody I've seen at landing elite talent. And last night, he gets Marcus Johnson, the cousin of Michi Johnson, who's rated the number 38 player in the country. I believe that's by On 3 Sports is where he's at. More of a true point guard, was originally committed to Ohio State. Look, this young man decommitted and was sought after by the blue bloods of the college basketball profession. Michigan's in the top 10. They wanted him. Louisville is doing big things. They're going to be in the top 10 after beating Kentucky. They wanted him. Ohio State did want him back. Like, big names. Now, maybe you don't want to say Duke, North Carolina, Kansas. Okay, cool.
Sure.
But, like, top 10 teams wanted him, and he is now going to, and this is crazy, and this is exciting, he's going to pair, I assume you never know year to year, right, with Eli Ellis in that backcourt next year.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden you look around and you're like, Lamont is cooking.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately, like, if you can win games, we'll see how this season goes. Those two, and you get me a legitimate post player, or you find a wing, like, those two guys in basketball recruiting, now you can go out in the transfer portal, or you can go out and here when we get to the spring and somebody's blown up and you can go, hey, you want to play with these two guys? These are going to be, look at these two guys. Like, this is all of a sudden like could be a turning point for Lamont Perry. He's got to figure out how to get through this year.
Sure.
Let's be very clear about that. this is a big get. And you factor it in with G.G. Jackson. I got it. I kind of know how that all went down, but he landed G.G. Jackson. Colin Murray Boyles and what he became. Now, Colin Murray Boyles wasn't this huge recruit. Eli Ellis, what? All of a sudden, I start to look at Cam Scott. I know Cam Scott's redshirting, and I know Cam Scott right now is
Still, that was
something.
a 4-star guy that was committed to Texas that you flipped and got him to come here.
I'm really now excited to see. I want to get through this season, but those two, Eli Ellis and Marcus Johnson in the backcourt, and give me somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
In the post. I need post.
Yeah, you've made yourself a lot more of an attractive destination. Now, well, again, you still got to have the NIL and all that kind of stuff that competes to be able to get a lot
something
of
went
these.
right.
Something is going right, clearly. And again, you have the in with him being Michi's cousin and all that. So that certainly does help. But yeah, I mean, Lamont Paris for his tenure at South Carolina has brought in some really big names so far. Now, again, you got to start seeing the consistent results during the season to kind of back that up, and we'll see what this season's going to be. But yeah, assuming everything holds serve, and Eli Ellis, who already through 3 games has impressed us a lot, and still a lot more to prove as the season goes along. If he ends up being the type of player that we think he can be, coupled with Michi's cousin here coming in, who knows? Maybe this is one of those attractive destinations for a lot of guys to want to come, and play next year and years going forward.
I mean, again, the way it works, these one-and-done guys go, that's your backcourt? Yeah, I'll go spend a year with those guys. That we make quite the trip. I mean, look, LeBron, Chris Wade, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. Yeah, you've seen all these big threes come together: Gasol, Kobe, Shaq. What was it? Garnett, Pierce, and who am I blanking on the third? Garnett. Oh, Ray Allen.
Yeah.
Ray Allen was technically, I think, their big third in Boston. And then Ray Allen went to the Heat. Thank you, Ray Allen. But this is very interesting. And it's a year away, which stinks.
Sure.
Because we got to go through this year. But huge pickup. So we got that going as well. Got a busy afternoon for you. Brian Edwards will join us from VegasInsider.com and MajorWager.com. We'll get his take, his picks. We'll make some money, some sports betting taking place. We'll get into that a little bit. We'll talk about last night, the Patriots uniforms.
Looked good.
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 I think I'm coming around into being a sports collector on uniforms now. We'll talk about that. And the week that we'll give out some picks. I've already made mine to thebigspur.com. Whatever Tyler hadn't already put out there, we'll put out there together, and we'll see who does a little bit better. You're listening to Tyler Head, Bill Gunner. It is our bullpen guy, producer, Ed Bird. He has stepped in. He's come out of the pen. He's nice and fresh, and he's going to get us through the program. You're listening to the Halftime Show. Yeah, don't forget, tomorrow we'll have Gamecock Game Day. Tyler and Terry, 7 a.m. right here for you, so you can get up, get the bacon and eggs going, fix the coffee, flip on over here to 107.5 The Game, and you two will be all hashing it out, breaking it down.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to need some coffee tomorrow morning for that one. It's going to be an early morning. But you know what? Hopefully we'll spread some optimism, and who knows what happens at noon tomorrow.
If you want to be a good listener, you can DoorDash Tyler some coffee. What kind of coffee do you like?
I go caramel latte. It's kind of my go-to.
Okay, write that down. If you want to be a good listener, you can DoorDash at 1301 Gervais Street, bottom floor. DoorDash him some a caramel latte tomorrow while he's doing the show. And he would be very, very happy. Very happy, Tyler, if you can do that. So now don't over-indate. Like, you might, if you get 5, you let me know.
There's going to be like 6 of them. Like, okay. And Terry's very particular about his coffee. He's kind of a coffee snob.
I am too. I am too.
You know, if it's like a gas station latte, Terry might not help me out with it.
I'm back on the black coffee right now, the all black coffee.
Yeah, I don't discriminate. Coffee's coffee to me, man.
Certain kinds I can do is black. The Black Rifle is what I've started going with.
A lot of caffeine.
That's right. Well,
it's what you need.
That's right. 803-404-6100. First question.
Yes.
And I think this is another part. This is another part of why I see a pathway to win. By the way, send in those punishments. I don't deserve to be doing a radio show today because I have let everybody down. I said I was going to take South Carolina to pull the upset, and then lo and behold, I sent my picks in to John Whittle of the BigSpur.com, and I took Texas A&M 28-24. For the record, that's more offensive points South Carolina. That would be the most offensive points South Carolina would have all year. I deserve something to happen to me. It is another reason, though, why I see a pathway to victory for South Carolina. A bye week,
Sure.
2 weeks to prepare, to get a little bit in better shape, to maybe kind of regroup a little bit. There's a lot of things here that they should be able to go out to College Station and now maybe mentally be in a better place.
That's something that's always going to give you a little bit of hope and optimism, especially when it comes to the change at offense. And that's why typically coaching changes get made going into bye weeks, because you got more time to kind of flip everything over and install what needs to be installed and adjust whatever needs to be adjusted to. So you've now roughly had 2 weeks with, and I know they had a couple days off at the end of last week, so it wasn't like you're practicing every single day, but you've had 2 weeks roughly with Mike Furry calling the plays, deciding what's going to be run in practice, all those kind of things, and hopefully you're well adapted to that. And again, just for a rest and recovery, again, outside of Josiah Thompson, your injury report did look pretty good last night, all things considered. So everybody on defense seems to be in good shape. Most everybody on offense seems to be in good shape, and hopefully just a renewed energy, because look, and we give Coach Beamer credit a lot for the ability that the team's never given up on him. In his 4 years here prior, they've always been playing for something. They're still playing for something. They have the chance to win 3 games and at least get themselves to some kind of bowl game in December. And that doesn't seem like the greatest prize in the world, but it's prize nonetheless. And how fired up are they going to be going into this one? We'll see. But they've had time to think about that and marinate on that for the past 2 weeks after another kind of embarrassing loss on the road last time out at Ole Miss that, I don't know, hopefully lights a spark under them going into tomorrow's game.
And so, that's number one. Number two, I'm really interested. We've talked so much about the offense, rightfully so. We're going to see what it is. Giving Clayton White another week to allow this defense to develop. I really felt as the season went along, we would see this defense get better and better and better. And, Tyler, I think they have. Do they still have breakdowns? Yes, they do. Do they still get gashed a little bit in the run game? Yes, they do. Now, we pointed out yesterday there was a Twitter video up. Travian Robertson was back out there doing his thing and coaching them up. I don't know if that's going to make a difference. I would like to say so.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know how Jordan Dove coaches, but I would imagine Travian Robertson's still a little bit different.
Sure.
Everybody's a little bit different.
Sure.
So getting him back is not hurting at all. But I want to see this defense after another bye week. Everybody should be healthy, right? You looked at that defensive, everybody that we know of
Right.
should be good to go. Those defensive linemen should be able to rotate. I want to see what Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy is going back home. He says he's got like
Right.
15 tickets to the game.
He's revenge on his mind.
He's fired up. I think he's been playing better for the Gamecocks. I will put him up there personally as the third most important player to bring back on this roster next year. Lenore Sellers and Dylan Stewart, A1, AB. I don't know. And I will tell you, it's Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy who can be a force in the middle. If you can bring back 1A or 1B, which is Stewart, and you put down Brownlow-Dindy in there, and then let's say you land a Julian Walker from Dutch Fork or a Zion Lee. Desmond Yumi Zulu has been coming along. Xavier Hardy will come off a red shirt where he's had a chance to develop a little bit. That defensive line's got a chance to even take a step forward next year.
Yeah, I won't disagree with you on that. And look, he's been banged up at times this year. I've made the joke, nobody's been walked off the field more than 99 so far this year. So he can stay healthy, then he can continue to have an effect really good when it comes to stopping the run and those kind of things as well. So a valuable piece of your defense. And, how much more motivation does he have going up against his old squad playing in College Station tomorrow? We'll see. There are factors when you can look at this and say, okay, I can see a pathway where this can be a contributing factor to why South Carolina can go in there and pull the upset tomorrow. And as I've said all day long, all week long, the past 2 weeks, I guess, nothing's impossible in college football right now. We saw a Penn State team that we all left for dead when they fired James Franklin take the number 2 team in the country to the limit last week. Yeah, that game was at home, so that certainly helps. And you're going on the road this weekend, so that's a little bit different. But nothing should shock us in college football anymore. And if Carolina went in there and won as 3 touchdown underdogs, we'd come in here happy on Monday, certainly. But I don't think we should be like, oh, my God, I can't believe that actually happened, because nothing's impossible.
Here, let me say this, and I said this for the Alabama game, and a lot of y'all thought I was crazy. Talent-wise, South Carolina can win this game. Talent-wise. My question will be coaching-wise and mentally. Are they still invested? Talent-wise, South Carolina can go in there. Lenore Sellers starts to have a good day. I still think the offensive line is, good enough to hold up on their own. Last year wasn't a particularly good showing. They kept getting free shots at Lenore Sellers, and he was just Superman. The wide receivers, I think, are good enough. Brian Rowe, Nick Harbor. Let's see if Mazeo Bennett becomes more of a piece. Jaden Sellers is back. Donovan Murphy has been getting a lot of run. I like Matthew Fuller better than I do Rasul Faison, but okay, you got those 2 guys. And then Lenore Sellers, if he feels it, if all of a sudden he comes out tomorrow and he's feeling it, he's the best player on the field. And he can with help.
Yes.
With help.
Can't do it all himself.
He can carry you to a victory.
And as we've talked about, under Shula, Lenore Sellers did not look confident. Lenore Sellers did not look like the best version of himself for whatever reason, whether that's overthinking, the development wasn't what they needed it to be, or whatever the reason was. Having a change of play caller, does that re-unlock the confident, best version of Lenore Sellers that we saw in this game a year ago in particular, but in the back half of last year overall? Is Furry able to unlock that? Can Furry's intensity add some extra juice and spark to this team? Well, we're saying all these things in kind of a hypothetical situation because we don't know, but we're hoping for the best, right? And again, we know what 16's capable of, and we haven't seen that over the course of an entire game so far this year. Maybe tomorrow's the day. We'll see.
803-404-6100. We'll be joined by Brian Edwards, a Vegas insider. When we come back, it is the halftime show. 12:34 on a Friday, an actual start to the weekend. We'll get Tyler another 2.5 hours here, but unfortunately back up at 7 a.m.
Be an early morning,
Earlier.
but again, like I said, 2 hours compared to 6 is light work, all things considered. And as Terry and I talk about, if you do your work during the week, Saturday mornings or the pregame show on Saturday, whenever it is not that bad.
Okay, there you go. All right, 803-404-6100. Let's start with our good buddy, MajorWager.com, VegasInsider.com. You can follow him on Twitter at VegasBEdwards is the way to do that. Brian Edwards, and welcome in, my man. How are we feeling heading into the weekend?
Feeling good, gentlemen. Thanks for having me. I'm in my car. I'm driving to Oxford. Hope the sound's okay on my end.
Okay, all right. You'll have to give us a. I have been once. I had to cover a game there. I didn't get to experience the festivities, so we will look forward to a full report from you next weekend when you get there. I assume you're just going for the festivities, not the actual game, given what we saw from Florida last week.
Well, I am going to go to the game, but I would say I'll probably be enjoying the festivities much more than the game.
Well, he's going there to see his next head coach of the Florida
There
Gators, just on the other sideline.
Excellent point.
That's exactly right.
Good point. He's
Hopefully.
scouting out the Kiffin. All right, well, let's start here with, now, last night you had, did I get this right? I gave it out yesterday. Troy, you had plus the 10.5 at Old Dominion.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes. Yeah, not no bueno on that one. Hope your listeners faded me on that one and cashed an easy ticket. That was ugly.
Yeah, that didn't go 33-0 in that game. All right, that's okay. You're going to make up for it, and you're going to start tonight where I'm looking at least now it's down to 2.5, but Louisville hosting Clemson and the Cardinals just -3. Clemson coming off of the victory over Florida State.
Yeah, Clemson 4-5 straight up and against the spread, and only one of their wins has come against a team with a winning record, and that was Troy, who we just referenced, that actually led Clemson 9-3 at halftime. And then, you look on the other side with Louisville. Well, one, they're in bounce-back mode. Maybe they get a little bit of a bump, feeling good about Jeff Brom agreeing to a contract extension after his name's kind of been in the rumor mill for all this pretty much unprecedented silly season that we've got ahead of us. And you look at Louisville's resume. I mean, a very quality win at Miami, also at Pitt, and Pitt's hot as a firecracker. And I'm spacing. They have another good win at home, and I'm spacing on it right now. But I just think Louisville is the better team. They're at home. In bounce-back mode, late a short number, give me the Cardinals.
Keeping in the SEC here, go over to Arkansas taking on LSU. Arkansas still looking for its first conference win of the season. LSU obviously spinning since Brian Kelly was fired a couple weeks ago. This is an Arkansas offense that's capable of scoring a lot of points. We know how talented the LSU offense is, even though they haven't quite lived up to it this year. You're taking a peek at the over for this one.
I am. Now, I got it buying the half point from 56.5 to 56. Early in the week, I saw this morning it was at 57.5, but I still like it to go over. LSU's offensive struggles have been tough, but I think Arkansas's defense is going to be just what the doctor ordered for that offense to get right. And as you noted, Taylor Green, Mike Washington, Omega Blake and company, they put up a lot of points, and the over is 7-2 overall for Arkansas right now, and both unders would have gone over this number. They had combined scores of 59 and 65, and Arkansas's games are averaging combined scores of 68.4 points per game. So give me the over there.
He's Brian Edwards. Make sure you follow him on Twitter. VegasBEdwards is the way to do that. Let's go down to Oklahoma and Alabama. This one should be a great one in Tuscaloosa. But you like the Tide tomorrow to have a little bit bigger victory than almost a touchdown.
Yeah, Alabama struggling to run the football, but they keep cashing tickets. They're 5-0, both straight up and against the spread at home this year to improve to 12-0 straight up, 10-2 ATS at home under Kalen DeBoer. And look, Oklahoma they have great defensive numbers for the season, but look, they've really only faced two elite offenses. And, although they beat Tennessee a couple weeks ago, Tennessee went up and down the field on them, 28 first downs. I think it was 468 yards of total offense, and Ole Miss had 34 on Oklahoma, despite settling for 4 field goals, which Kiffin rarely does. So I think that Oklahoma, their defense, I think, is a little bit overrated just because they played some really weak offenses. Michigan, Auburn, Kent State come to mind. But anyhow, I like Bama minus the 6 at home. And if you're feeling aggressive, and I think I said it like this on Bama versus LSU last week, make a smaller play on Bama in the first quarter, minus 1.5, and minus 3 or 3.5 in the first half, if you're feeling aggressive. But Bama minus 6 is my favorite.
Let's spin over to the ACC once again. Got Florida State playing host to Virginia Tech. And look, these are two programs that most people probably aren't paying too much attention to now, especially Florida State, with how much their season's fallen off. Got beat pretty significantly last time out against Clemson as well, but they're about 2 touchdown favorites in this one against Virginia Tech. And for a team that's struggling as much as FSU is, that does seem like a pretty hefty number.
It does, and I'm going to go with the underdog Hokies plus the 14. Mike Norvell is the coaching speculation on his future in Tallahassee is revved back up this week big time. It's got to be a distraction, and FSU obviously had a good performance against Wake Forest, and they've got a great receiver in Deuce Robinson, and those factors gave me a little bit of pause, but I can't turn down fading FSU. It's such a big number. Their last 9 as a double-digit face an FBS opponent, 2-7 against the spread with 4 outright losses. I'll go with the Hokies.
Again, Brian Edwards joining us. Make sure tomorrow morning or this afternoon you check out MajorWager.com and or Vegas Insider. One college prop bet, Cincinnati quarterback Brandon Sorsby and his rushing total is what you're keeping an eye on.
Yeah, let's go over 38.5. He's gone over that number in 6 of 9 games, and 2 of them that came out short were just barely 36 and 33. And they are playing Arizona at noon tomorrow. Give me Sorsby over 38.5. And if you want to do the anytime touchdown prop, he's been hitting those consistently this year. Should be around minus 110, minus 120.
Take a look at the NFL real quick here. Chargers traveling across the country to take on the Jaguars down in Jacksonville. Jaguars scuffling a little bit after they got off to a pretty good start, lost a handful, I believe 3 out of the last 4 games, and you're leaning towards the Chargers to as the road favorite.
Yeah, 2 teams going in opposite directions. The Chargers have won 3 in a row and 4 of 5 straight up and ATS, whereas the Jags 1-3 straight up, 0-3-1 against the spread. The last 4, the only win by 1 over the Raiders in overtime. I think we've got the quarterback advantage and the head coaching advantage. And Trevor Lawrence not playing good ball, ranked 28th in the NFL in QBR and number 32 in passer rating. Give me the Chargers minus the 3.
Again, he is Brian Edwards. Real quick, Jameis Winston set to make his debut again. What do we got going here?
I'm going to go Jameis Winston over 228.5 passing yards, and the prop for him to have 2 or more interceptions plus 172 at FanDuel. But like if your number is like 1.5 on the interceptions at a different price, that's fine. Over that, if there's an offer of over 2.5, he had 3 interception games and 9 starts last year. If you got an over 2.5 option at real big plus money, not against a small play there as well.
Brian, we always appreciate it. Always take time to join us, and we're very thankful for that. Go have a great afternoon and a great day in Oxford. Good luck to you, Gators. But, yeah, you might want to investigate the situation on Lane Kiffin and give us some information next week.
You got it, man. Thanks, fellas. Y'all have a great weekend.
You too. Brian Edwards on the road to Oxford, Mississippi to hang out and, cover, watch.
Yeah.
And maybe gamble, even though he didn't have a pick for that game.
Do you poke the bear when you're talking to Ole Miss fans? Like, hey, it's going to be fun having Kiffin here next year. I don't think they take too kindly to that. They may not invite you into their Grove tailgate at that point.
It depends on what kind of tailgating Brian does. If
That's
Brian
true.
gets a little inebriated and decides he wants to talk a little trash, That's the best way to do it. 803-404-6100. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 1. It is the halftime show. Thank you to Brian Edwards for joining us there. Again, Louisville tonight, minus the 3. Arkansas, LSU, over 57. Alabama, minus the 6. He also likes the first half. Was the first half? Gotta go back and look. I wrote down first half. Minus 1.5. First half or first quarter? I gotta go back and look at that. I
think it was
down.
first quarter.
I think I wrote accidentally miswrote that down. Yeah, first quarter. I'm sorry. I wrote down first quarter. Or excuse me, I wrote down first half. Should have been first quarter. And Virginia Tech plus 14 in his college games. His prop bet, Brandon Sorsby, Cincinnati quarterback, rushing for 38.5 total yards against Arizona and an anytime touchdown. Tyler will get that up for us here in just a little while. If you missed it, I'll tweet it out, and we'll be good to go. 803-404-6100. Brent wants to weigh in on men's basketball, which we talked a little bit about. Brent, how you doing? What's on your mind?
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Glad you're doing well. First thing, I watched the Alabama-Purdue game last night, and what kind of stuck out to me was the presence of the big men that they have. And I'll tally that into Gamecocks basketball. We seem to have some big men. I think we have some 6'8", 6'9", 7-footers, but they don't have the bulk that those Purdue, Alabama players have. Second thing, Bill, was wondering if you're in your basketball playing career, you ever considered a Miles Stute neck tattoo? And then thirdly, I just wanted to see how impressed you are with the play and the motor of Eli Ellis and Mongolian Mike. Those guys seem to really be impactful.
Appreciate the phone call. What was the first question again? He hit me with the neck tattoo, and I lost all concept of what he was talking
about. Carolina not having the same kind of bigs of a team like Alabama and Purdue that played last night.
This is my personal opinion from doing scouting at a school like South Carolina to get a true quality big. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying it's impossible at all. You either have to have a very good connection for South Carolina. You have to have a very good connection, like they did with Colin Murray Boyles, who was from here in the state, who grew up here. South Carolina was able to get on very early. And quite honestly, Colin Murray Boyles is his draft status compared to his ranking would attest to was underrated. That was not the expectation. And with that being said, for South Carolina, in a lot of schools, it's not just South Carolina, to get a true quality big man that doesn't need a little bit of development. I go back, Roe Howell was from here in town, Bud Johnson. These were guys who were supposed to, Tony Kitchens was in state, going way back down. DeMontre Harris was a great pull out of North Carolina that just mentally never made it, and scandals and all kinds of stuff. That was an Orlando early deal. But I really liked him. But it's very rare that you can get a guy, Sam Muldrow developed over time. And it's very, very rare that you can get a school like South Carolina can get a guy that comes in kind of like an Alabama or Purdue, who are on top of the game. That the big guy is skilled and coordinated and can do all these things. It's normally a 1 to 2 year process. For example, and I know he's not your traditional big guy, Jordan Butler, I think, his step through 3 games has actually been one of the players that I've been the most impressed with, because you see the development in his game in what is technically year 3.
Yeah, he just physically doesn't have the size to fill out what you would want a 7-foot big to be, because he's a lot skinnier than that. Like Christy Sindoko, size-wise, pretty good. I don't know. And again, he was injured the other night and didn't play. So I don't know what his exact role in this team's going to be as far as the entire season goes. But to the caller's point, it's not, those things don't grow on trees, unfortunately. Where not everybody has the ability to have a big like that. The Alabamas and Purdue's seem to have ad nauseum. So yeah, you're going to have to kind of work around that this season if you're South Carolina. I do want to know about the neck tattoo, though.
Closest I ever got, Coach Barrett, Coach Harris wouldn't let me wear it, is I wanted to wear a headband.
So he definitely wouldn't have allowed a neck tattoo.
No, neck tattoos would have been, I don't know what the consequences. Of course, the neck tattoo in 99, 2000 wasn't exactly the same kind of thing as it is now. But a headband, I got the haircut that I still basically got, just hadn't changed it up. So extremely short hair, and there was a point guard at Notre Dame that I really liked who had a headband. There was a couple players that wore headbands, and they were more like point guards. And I was like, I like that look.
Yeah.
That didn't fly. That was a no-go.
So he didn't let any kind of flair Any kind
No.
of flair for your shoes or socks or anything like that?
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
I don't remember on the socks. I was a no-scene socks kind of guy.
Well, you know what? You guys won, so that's what's important.
Yeah, it turns
you can
out.
say, all right, he's a no-nonsense coach, but at least he wins.
Turns out that's what was important. And then number 3, yeah, I mean, look, am I surprised? No, I'm not surprised with Eli. I'm a little surprised the game is translating as easy as it is. I have to be honest on this. He is playing below his level right now. And I'm sorry, I misphrased that. The talent he's playing with is not up to his. Let's put him in the SEC and see how he does.
Yeah.
But he's been impressive. Mongolian Mike, I'm still waiting to see what I'm looking for on this. There's been good moments and bad moments.
He's athletic.
He's intriguing,
Yeah.
is what he is. 6'9", handles the ball, doesn't rebound it very well. At times he is a good passer. At times he's not a good passer. He's thrown some really bad passes. Shoots it at a decent clip. Good player. I think the ceiling is high for him, but I don't know if you can get it in 1 year. We'll come back, get into a lot more football and high school football. It's the halftime show. Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing, where for nearly 30 years, Mid-State Roofing has been the leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. And it's those 30 years that prove to you that it gives you the proven assurance that they will get the job done in a timely and pleasurable a timely and pleasurable job for you and your business. Whatever it is, your business, your home, Mid-State Roofing is there for you. So give them a phone call today, 803-356-1919. Not only that, but they're there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You hear me say it, I kind of joke about it. Leaks, don't know what time it is. It could occur at 10 p.m., 11 p.m., midnight. But guess what? Mid-State Roofing is there to take your phone call. 803-356-1919. If you've got a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek. Oh, 1 o'clock, Tyler. I had 2 more hours for you. No wrestling tonight?
Not that I'm attending, at least.
Not that you're attending?
Yeah, I'm still trying to catch up on sleep from last weekend
Oh, true.
because we got home late. Parents were coming the next morning, so we got up kind of early for that. I still don't think I've fully recovered even a week later, and got to get up early tomorrow. So hopefully Sunday I can catch up on things.
All right. Well, we got a little bit of football tonight that you can get into. The kind of at least in-state, the highlight will be watching Louisville and Clemson tonight. The Cardinal, I tell you what now, we talk about this, and I've seen this on the message boards and seen it around. Everybody's kind of down in the dumps about the men's sports around here. Basketball coming off the year they did. Baseball coming off the year they did. Now football 3-6. Louisville's going to be top 10 in basketball come next week. I assume they're not going to lose this weekend. I don't even know if they got a game. But after knocking off Kentucky in a fun game this week, football's top 20. They were banging on the door of the college football playoff. The Cardinals program up there has it kind of rolling. Baseball hadn't looked. I don't know how they did in baseball last year. I truthfully don't keep up. I know they've been a strong program in the past, but I think things have started to fall off just a tad.
By the way, they play Ohio coming up tomorrow in basketball,
And
so I think they'll probably win that game. But yeah, and there's still technically a pathway for them to get to the college football playoff, though it took a little bit of a hit with their loss to Cal this past weekend. But yeah, it's one of those programs where you kind of look at the collective sum of what they're doing in all sports and like, hey, it's not a bad time to be a Louisville fan. Now, that wasn't the case a couple years ago.
No.
But right now, things look okay. And again, I think we've detailed plenty of times that, unfortunately, men's sports this season have been quite underwhelming when it comes to South Carolina. Hopefully, Lamont Paris's crew is starting a better outlook on 2026, but we'll see.
803-404-6100, how you can weigh in if you want to do so this afternoon as we get you ready for South Carolina and Texas A&M. 9-2 in the series. We kind of debated it yesterday. Gamecocks have never won in College Station. They've had some opportunities. They've been close before, but they've never actually been able to quite pull it off. So you kind of look here, Tyler, and 17, 18, 19-point underdog kind of depends on where you're looking and what you kind of believe. Again, I've said it. A lot of pathways that I see for South Carolina to actually pull off this upset.
Yeah, again, I will never rule anything out in today's world of college football, and I do think the element of having a brand new play caller certainly opens up the possibility for a lot of positive things. We don't know that for sure, but I'll go back to, again, UCLA and Auburn have shown you that sometimes the week after you fire your coach or make a change at who's calling plays, you can kickstart your offense going in the right direction. Maybe that's what's going to happen tomorrow for South Carolina. But I just look at too many factors working against them in this game because, again, A&M's still a really good team. I know they haven't beaten an SEC team that has a winning record in conference play as of right now. Well, they have beat good teams. They have beaten Missouri. They beat Notre Dame earlier on in the year. As crazy as that game was, they still went on the road and won that regardless. So this is a team that has proven itself, right? As we talked about yesterday, they survived a wacky game against Arkansas a couple weeks ago. So, they've been tested in a lot of different regards, and they've got past that threshold of, well, you can still go 8-4, and I know we like to joke about it, but that's been a real thing. We talked to a guy yesterday from Aggie Yell, and he brought up battered Aggie syndrome as being a real thing within that fan base, which I did think was funny. As far as them getting past the 8-9 win mark, and now if they win on Saturday against Carolina, that's 10. And all things considered, because I don't expect Samford to come in there with their interim head coach to come in and pull off an upset. A win tomorrow pretty much locks them in the college football playoff. They're still going to play Texas, which winning that would give them 12-0 and obviously a spot in the SEC championship game. But they essentially lock themselves into the postseason with the win tomorrow. And I think they know that, and I think they'll be on their game for it.
Let's listen. This is Jackson Calloway with Aggie Yale. He joined the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour. Was it yesterday? Y'all did this? And he's going to talk about Texas A&M, the expectations versus the reality of this team. Here he is, Jackson Calloway, yesterday from Aggie Yale, breaking down a little bit of Texas A&M.
Yeah, I think coming off of last year and the fall that kind of happened at the end of the last season, just due to the many reasons, I think that they didn't have the talent. I think the Le'Veon Moss injury, kind of seeing that, I think a lot of fans are kind of down after what kind of felt like a year where A&M could have gotten ahead and they kind of missed on this opportunity. I think coming into this season, a lot of people kind of expected this to be a much better team. But with the schedule, it looked like preseason, everyone kind of thought, okay, this may be another 8-4, maybe 9-3 season. And so obviously sitting here at 9-0 is pretty awesome. But there's still a lot of work to be done. I think Mike Oak will be the first one to tell you that. But I think right now, like, they have an opportunity to go and do something for A&M that we haven't seen in a long time. And it continues this week in South Carolina.
You think there's pressure not to collapse?
Maybe a little bit.
These players haven't been around for 10 years,
Sure.
12 years, whatever it's been, where you get these collapses. But you laugh at it if you watch the SEC shorts. It says battered battered Aggie syndrome. You know how that kind of fades into a team. It bleeds into a team, if you will. And again, these are young guys that they haven't been around for some of that. And last year to them, they may say, well, that was the anomaly. That was a fluke. But this slowly all carries over into who you are and what your program's all about. Remember, for the longest time, folks, and I'm not picking on them, it was Clemsoning, right?
Yeah.
It was Clemsoning. And it wasn't the same players all the time. It was just the same thing that would happen. Where is Texas A&M mentally knowing, look, there's pressure on them.
There is.
There's more pressure on them than South Carolina because they know what's at stake.
There is, and I think Mike Elko has made it a point a lot this year, and not just this week listening to him, but when I've come across some of his pressers or clippings and stuff like that this year, he keeps getting asked. And I guess when you're a reporter covering Texas A&M, you're just used to the team finding a way to be an 8-4 or having collapses in November and stuff like that. He's been asked about this a lot this year, and it's a question that keeps driving him crazy because he's like, hey, I don't want to talk about history. I want to talk about what this team is, and I think Elko is a very good coach, and I think he's somebody that is going to be at A&M for a long time and have a lot of success. Will he get him to a national championship? I don't know. That's obviously something that's difficult that only a handful of coaches in modern college football are accomplishing as of right now. But I think he does have what it takes to be around there for a long time and win a lot of games. And I think that mindset that he's conveying in these media availabilities of, hey, it doesn't matter what's happened in the past. I know A&M has this history with Sumlin and Jimbo Fisher of just being 8-4 and collapsing down the stretch, but this team's different, and that's the message that he keeps giving out every time I hear him speak, and I believe that. And I go back to last year's game here at South Carolina. Yes, Marcel Reed is a very, very talented quarterback. They had plenty of dudes on defense a year ago, but I wouldn't have said that was definitely one of the best teams in all of college football.
Right.
And look, they came in here 7-1, ranked number 10, and set all the goals in front of them to control their destiny to Atlanta and the college football playoff and all that. But I don't think that team was as good as this year's team is. When I watched this team and watched them against Missouri last week or other times seeing them this year, I'm like, oh no, this team's just really, really good. They wreak havoc on defense. They got playmakers on offense. Like, this team is capable of making the playoff and maybe making a run in there. So I just think they have a better team around them this year where it's possible to finally break through and get past all that history and narrative of what A&M has been for the better part of really their entire time in the SEC.
Well, and that's, we think about the Kevin Sumlin years where they would get off to the great starts, the Jimbo Fisher years, all those you just pointed out, all those years, and now you kind of wait and see, all right, what's going to happen with these guys. And that's why I ask about the pressure. I know Texas is 2 weeks away. You do wonder if you catch them looking slightly ahead. They did play last week. You don't have they don't have the benefit of the bye. There's a lot more there than, okay, it's just Texas A&M playing South Carolina and you're getting them at a certain time. But again, South Carolina, you come in with an element of surprise. You come in with a bye week. You get the early kick time. Oh, and Johnny Manziel, remember, is supposed to have something special for Texas A&M.
Oh man, I forgot about that. Yeah. What do we think that is?
We don't know. And with Johnny Manziel, I don't know if we want to know.
And why was it specifically the Carolina game? Maybe that was the soonest he could get his hands on something or have whatever it is shipped to him. But yeah, I now remember like a month ago, he's like, I'm going to have something for him. The Carolina game, noon kick in the locker room. Beforehand, I'm curious. I want to see what this is.
Yeah, again, as I just said, there's a lot happening in College Station tomorrow, and we'll see kind of how it all plays out. 803-404-6100. Chris Deering joins us coming up next. It's week 2 of the playoffs. We'll let him break down some of the great games coming up. You're listening to Tyler Head, Bill Gunner, producer Ed Bird. It is the Halftime Show.
It's all right here for our friends over at Tilly's Warehouse, first wine and spirit store in 5 Points in the past 20 years. You're getting set for the weekend, no Carolina home game, but you can always hang out at the house with family or friends and tailgate yourself for the game tomorrow and Sunday or whenever you want to hang out and have a good time. And Tilly's got everything you need to make that weekend as fun as possible. They've got G4 Tequila in stock over there. They've got the Garnet and Black Vodka, which 25% of proceeds go to the Garnet Trust. They've got High Noons, Sun Cruisers, Surfsides, Cutwaters in the case or in ready-to-drink cans by the register as well. And if you mention that you heard this ad on 107.5 Game, you can get 10% off any wine selection over at Tilly's. You can follow them on Instagram and Facebook or visit their website, tillyswarehouse.com, for more information and discover why Tilly's is your new most visit spot over in 5 Points.
It is another week of the South Carolina High School football playoffs, and joining us now to break it all down as the games theoretically should be a little bit closer, Chris Deering. We shouldn't have some of the blowouts we had last week, correct?
Correct. And, last week, as I like to call it, we saw those interstate scores, 40s, 50s, 60s. I think we even snuck 170 in there last week. I don't think we will see that this week. I think a lot more competitive games across the entire state. You got some real, as I called them, bangers in the second round, and I think you can see a lot of good football with some teams that have a chance. I think there might be some teams tonight that might pull off an upset that might even be playing. I always talk about that week of Thanksgiving, how special it is to practice on Thanksgiving. If a team can win tonight, a couple teams can win tonight, road teams, I think they have a chance to still be playing on that Thanksgiving week, and that's always big time in this state, in my opinion.
Okay, well, let's follow those first 2 points you just made. Let's start with number one. Where will you be? What are you covering?
I'm going down to Sumter tonight, Memorial Stadium in Sumter. The James Island Trojans are coming up from the Charleston area, and that's one of the ones I classified as being a banger. That's two really good defenses. That's two really good offenses. Something's got to give in that one. Not sure what it's going to be. Haven't seen James Island in a number of years, so excited to see those guys play. Not seen Sumter this year, but I have seen them recently. I saw them last year. Our quarterback's back. He's really good. Franklin Richardson. Connor Dantzler is one of the North-South kids from James Island. He's one of the quarterbacks in the North-South game. So I think there's just a lot of talent on the field tonight. Not just skill guys. There's going to be a lot of talent in the trenches, a lot of talent in the front seven on both sides, both defenses, and I think it's just going to be a really competitive, really, really close game.
All right, so that's 10-1 James Island traveling to 9-1 Sumter. Okay, well, since you brought it up, give me one team, just one team that you've got on upset alert tonight, and why? Wow,
upset alert. Let me look at my list here now because I wasn't prepared to answer that one. I'm gonna keep it right here locally. And a lot of people I know are probably going to think I'm crazy when I say this. Hammond might be on upset alert.
Okay.
They've won 20 in a row against Heathwood Hall. So, there's nothing there to make you say, man, Heathwood Hall's got a chance to win this one tonight. Well, last time they played, which was earlier this season, Hammond had to use a field goal with 10 seconds to go from Jackson Ross to beat them 9-7. I think this Heathwood Hall team is hungry, but it's hard to beat experience at this stage of the game, and I understand that. But Heathwood Hall might go over. Their quarterback, Patrick Belk, is really good. They got a chance to go over and I think shock a lot of people if they can knock off Hammond. I think Hammond's won 5 or 6 titles in a row at this stage of the game. But that defense for Heathwood Hall, Julian Hughes, Thomas Scurry, those guys have been really good. Hayward Belzer, they've been good this year, and they held Hammond to 1 touchdown in that first game. So it'll be interesting to see if they can do that again tonight. If Hammond's struggling anywhere this year, it's been on the offensive side of the ball. Their defense is as good as ever. And now it's going to be tough for Heathwood to get the ball moving down the field. But, again, a couple breaks here, a couple breaks there. I'm going to put Hammond on upset alert for tonight.
Talking high school football with Chris Deering here on the AAA Heating Air phone lines. A spin over to Spartanburg, taking on Ridgeview. Pretty evenly matched contest. Spartanburg won in the first round against JL pretty handily, and Ridgeview obviously on the bye into the second round. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, that might be another team on upset alert. Spartanburg got their running back, Trenton Lynch. He had missed a couple of games. He had a big week last week. They have a really good quarterback, and I think he's thrown for he's thrown for about 1,500 yards. I think he's the East Carolina commit. But this, Ridgeview, they've done it on defense all year long. Most of the coaches I've talked to said that this Ridgeview defense is fast. They're physical. They're hard to really get going against. And that's going to be a key, I think, for Spartanburg. They're gonna have to mix in the pass and the run, and getting Lynch back is obviously going to help that prospect. And Ridgeview is still a little bit unsettled at quarterback. They played two guys since the injury to Trey Howard. So if you don't have a solid number one at this point, there's always questions on what can be done. But they could try to line up and run the football, I think, Adam. Spencer Bobian, he's got over 1,100 yards and 17 touchdowns this year. So I think that's going to be a really competitive game. Spartanburg is seasoned. Ridgeview, I think they got beat in the second round of the playoffs last year where they had to go down to Somerville. So, again, trying to get some demons off their plate for Ridgeview and advance a little bit deeper into the playoffs this year.
Again, he is Chris Deering. He will be in coverage tonight. James Allen and Sumter. So you can follow him on Twitter at CDeering82 is the way to do that. Let's have a local team here. AC Flora traveling to Seneca. Both of these are 10-1 tonight.
Yeah, both 10-1 teams. Number 4 and number 5 seed in the 4A upper state bracket. AC Flora is the road team here, but I think I give them a little bit of advantage. They have Roper Winsky, Blake Batet at wide receiver and defensive back. They got oh my goodness, now my mind just went blank. The Jordan Davis and Josh Davis, they do it all for that AC Flora team. Azel Benang, it looks like he just got an offer from Oregon this week. He's a defensive back. His dad played at South Carolina back under Lou Holtz. He's a secondary guy. So I really like this AC Flora team. And I haven't even mentioned the quarterback, Roper Winsky. He's one of the best in the state. He's done it for 3 years now. And he's got a lot of weapons around him. And I think that AC Flora team is going to be a tough out. And I think the biggest difference from them, they've only lost one game, and that was the South Point. But I think they're playing better now because they have a running game with Jalen Simmons. He should go over 1,000 yards tonight on the season. He started out the season really slow, but he's been really key down the stretch. So I think Flora can go on the road. They can run it. They can throw it. And I think that's going to be a tough game for Seneca to win at home.
Let's go over to Daniel taking on Daniel taking on Camden. Excuse me. Daniel escaping last week with the victory over Dreer. You're wondering though if Camden can go on the road to win this one.
Yeah, this is one. Last week I know a lot of people across the state were watching that Daniel Dreer score, and Dreer led for a lot of the game 10-7. Daniel scored late to win at 14-10. And that had a lot of people surprised. Daniel's been good all year. They're 10-1. And this Camden team, I think they're built for the playoffs. I like the way I did see them against AC Flora just a few weeks back. They lost that game, but Grayson Remps, their quarterback, is good. And the kid I think they need to sort of saddle up and use a lot in the playoffs is Navier Boykin, the running back. He's a big kid. I think he can take it 20, 25 times if needed, and he's going to produce for you if that's the case. And Camden's good defensively. They got really good defensive linemen. Tyler Edwards is one of those guys. So I think this is another road team that can get on the bus and travel hour and a half, 2 hours, and go up the road and get a victory.
Back in the day, Tyler, I don't know if you're aware of this, there was a stud quarterback. He played running back. He was a receiver. He was a defense. He did it all. His name was Chris Deering. And he led.
No, it was not, sir.
He led the Berkeley Stags to something. I don't know what he led them to. Well, the Berkeley Stags tonight are 8-2, home of the Fighting Chris Deering. They take on Westwood 7-4 down there. Your thoughts?
Yeah, this is a playoff matchup from last year that Berkeley won pretty easily. Berkeley did have the bye last week with Westwood picking up a first-round win I mean, Westwood wants to run the ball. They want to get down there and establish the run. And I'll tell you, this Berkeley team, outside of maybe the Somerville game and the game they played against a team from Florida, they've been really good defensively. And you know, they once after they lost to Somerville, they lost to Stratford to start region play. And then they rolled off a bunch of shutouts and, you know, holding teams to 6 or 7 points. So I think this Berkeley defense might be the difference in the game tonight. You know, they still have Henry Rivers on offense. He's really talented. He's probably not put the numbers up that a lot of people expected this year, but he can still go. He's doing it with his arm and he's doing it with his legs. So, you know, you go down there to Bonner Stadium, Gerald Moody Field, that's a tough place to play, Bill. You know, matter of fact, I don't think I ever played a road game in the playoffs. And we did lose my junior year. I shouldn't say that. So, but we did play for a state championship my senior year. That's where I led us. I drove the bus because they wouldn't let me do anything else. And I drove us up here so we could play the state championship game.
About 2 more minutes here. Let's take a look at one of the statewide matchups. Got Somerville taking on Ashley Ridge. Obviously, Somerville, always a great program. They only lost twice this year. One of those, pretty handily, though, was to Ashley Ridge right out a month ago.
Yeah, that was one that shocked everybody. And the fact that Ashley Ridge won, I don't think was the shocker. It was the margin of victory. I think it was 42-19. But, you know, Ashley Ridge has got Ryan Campbell, a running back that I think he surpassed what a lot of people expected this year. He was a transfer from Fort Dorchester, and he's been really good for them. You know, this is a game that Somerville obviously wants to get back and try to, you know, wipe off that regular season loss. And I'm sure it's going to be a packed house down there. This was at Ashley Ridge, and I think that's going to be one great environment. And that's one I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on, just based on what happened earlier this season. So I can't wait to see how that one turns out. But, you know, outside of that one, just a lot of great playoff games all the way across the state tonight.
Should be a fantastic night. Chris, we always appreciate it. Safe travels down to Sumter. Good luck to your Berkeley Stags. And we look forward to catching up with you next Friday as we creep closer to Thanksgiving. We creep closer to state championship weekend. Real quick, we got about 35 seconds. Remind everybody where the state championships are being held this year.
So they're going back to Orangeburg at South Carolina State. The South Carolina High School League will be playing there, and Skis are actually playing their championship games there next weekend, Friday and Saturday. So everything's being held in Orangeburg this year.
All right. So that way we can remind everybody if they're starting to think ahead that far. Chris, safe travels. Take care. Follow him on Twitter tonight, cdeering82, and we'll catch up with you next week.
All right, you guys have a great weekend.
Take care. All right, bye-bye. Chris Deering there as he gets set. Yeah, I'm telling you, you heard him.
Yeah.
Berkeley, he was a stud. I mean, they say he was.
Hey.
They say pride of Berkeley.
Here's the great thing about high school football: we can't prove him wrong. I can't go back and retroactively find the stats. So he could have been the greatest player in Berkeley history, and I couldn't prove him wrong.
Second best, Bruce Ellington was maybe third best. Andre Ellington came out of there too.
Again, if we can't prove him wrong, who knows?
Very true that. 803-404-6100. We'll come back. We'll get into a little bit of big picture college football. You're listening to Tyler Head, Bill Gunner, producer Ed Bird. It is the Halftime Show. 1:35 as we roll along. Thank you to Chris Deering for giving us the breakdown of the weekend. It's going to be a great night. Tyler, weather has warmed up. We no longer have that incredibly cold air that had rolled through the Midlands. It's, I think, about 65 out there now, almost into the 70s.
I was 68, so yeah, a little bit better. We're in that weird middle ground where you have to come out in the morning with a thick jacket on, but you can be in maybe not short sleeves, but I got like a athletic thin long sleeve shirt on. That's pretty acceptable later on in the day.
You know what I don't have to do anymore is get up at 5 a.m. and deal with it.
That's very true.
And
yeah.
It is gorgeous.
I know it is quite cold in these studios that early in the morning.
It is absolutely delicious. 803-404-6100. Let's look at the games here. Let's look at the games for the week and make a few picks here. Now I'm going to coincide my picks with what I've sent into John Whittle of the BigSpur.com. Tomorrow, let's start with the game, the ranked versus ranked matchup in the noon window. Notre Dame and Pittsburgh. You heard Brian Edwards say Pittsburgh's been hot, been playing well. Notre Dame's a 12.5-point favorite in this game, though.
So that's a pretty big number, especially to be a road team. I think Notre Dame's the better team here, will probably win this matchup, but Pitt's scrappy enough to make it close. Now, their coach did say, I'd rather get beat 110-10 and worry about the ACC games that wrap up the season. But it's really interesting because they play, I believe, Georgia Tech and Miami to wrap up the regular season. Now, if they win both those games, they'd probably still be in the ACC championship game anyway. But this also is a game that can bolster their resume. So if they get the ACC title game and lose by beating 3 ranked opponents to wrap up your season, you could make a case for being a 10-2 team in the college football playoff. I know maybe he's not thinking about that right now, but I get what he was trying to say, but probably not the best way to motivate your team going into a game.
Next week, we may have to do a coach's ranking going into week 10. And I say that because Marcus Freeman is moving up my list of coaches.
Well, God, everybody wants him.
I mean, I really think Marcus Freeman has Notre Dame ready. The 2 early season stumbles. The A&M game was a great game. Somebody had to lose that. The Miami game, I don't know about that. But that was also Carr's first start there, a little bit different. I'm going to go Notre Dame tomorrow. Spread's 12.5. I got Pittsburgh covering.
Okay.
I got Notre Dame winning 30-24. I think Notre Dame's the better football team, and they know their play. That's an elimination game for them.
Yeah, their back's up against the wall. They have no other choice. They are living by the fact that they lost 2 close games to Miami and Texas A&M, and they've got to win over Southern Cal. This is another chance to beat a ranked team. That'll help them out a lot. And look, if they win out, if they would go 10-2, they're in because they're in right now, and I don't expect them to drop. So yeah, they've been in playoff elimination mode really since week number 3 because they lost the first 2 games, and I think we all said back then, yeah, a 9-3 Notre Dame's probably not getting in with the schedule that they have. So they've been on this mode the entire year, and I think they'll be fine tomorrow.
Very rarely do we. Well, you get right here, Oklahoma and Alabama. Oklahoma and Alabama, 3:30 tomorrow. Alabama. This might have changed. I mean, I'm going by ESPN bet. It now has Alabama as a 5.5-point favorite. Tyler, 3:30 game, ABC. Where are you going?
Going Alabama. Look, Kalen DeBoer famously has not lost a game in front of fans at home in his head coaching career in FBS, which is still an insane stat. I don't expect that to change tomorrow. Obviously, Oklahoma brings in a great defense that we saw just a couple weeks ago here in Columbia, but since John Mateer's returned from his hand injury, that offense hasn't been the same. I think their defense has the ability to hold Alabama maybe into the low 20s like LSU did last week. I don't think they have enough offensively to go out there and outscore them. Now, I think this can be a competitive game and a close game. And, again, that Venables-led defense, really, really good. But I think Alabama at home, revenge factor of losing the game on the road last year in Norman. I just think Alabama's too good here.
I go Alabama. I think it's going to be a great game. I took Alabama 24-21. Given that it's at Bryant-Denny, I really like that. And I think that Alabama – much like ours. I don't know if Alabama's playoff hopes are, I don't know yet. I don't know if Alabama's hopes are on the line. Oklahoma's are.
Yeah.
But I'll go Alabama to pull it out.
I was very impressed with Oklahoma's win a couple weeks ago on the road at Tennessee. They were helped out a lot by Joey Aguilar throwing some bad balls. They got turned over. Ty Simpson's not that same kind of quarterback. Very good at protecting the football. I don't think that Oklahoma's going to be out there forcing a ton of turnovers and giving their offenses short fields. Again, we saw, you can hold that Alabama offense down a little bit. Carolina did a good job of that, and they made some mistakes themselves, but I just don't think Oklahoma quite has the firepower offensively to keep up.
Let's go back 12:45. Boy, this game's kind of fallen too. 12:45 SEC Network, so it'll be an 11:45 a.m. kick at Tiger Stadium. Arkansas and LSU, two interim coaches that have worked their way out of getting the job. The line's 4.5.
I lean towards LSU. Arkansas hasn't won a conference game so far, and I don't think Bobby Petrino's done enough to warrant getting himself this job. But you have to wonder about the level of care from LSU. And again, they went on the road, an emotional game last time out against Alabama, and they just couldn't score to save their lives. I believe they're still starting Nussmeier tomorrow. I believe Nussmeier.
I haven't seen where they're going with Van Buren.
Or maybe they haven't announced it yet, but you wonder about the psyche of Nussmeier if he does end up playing tomorrow after getting benched last week. I just think, and given the fact you also have all the distractions going on around who the next head coach is going to be and the mess that is the hiring process, I just think it's a lot. But LSU is a more talented team on paper than where Arkansas is, and I think they'll be able to win this game, though I could see this being a 4-quarter fight of a game.
Let's go to the 3:30 game. Big Ten Network, they weren't ready for this. Another matchup of ranked teams tomorrow. Number 21, Iowa. Number 17, Southern Cal. Trojans a 6.5-point favorite.
I heard this is going to be a game in the wet weather. I heard it's been raining out there in Los Angeles today and tomorrow. That favors Iowa quite a bit. However, and this has been a constant thing in college football this year, teams that have to travel really, really far, especially after coming off an emotional, tough game, loss at home last week to Oregon, I go Southern Cal in this one. I always lean towards Iowa in their defense, but I think the advantage is Southern Cal tomorrow.
Yeah, I've got this one being kind of low. Well, not really low scoring. I've got Southern Cal covering it, 27-16. That Iowa offense. After last week, I think Iowa's down. They had their opportunities. Now, like you said, you got to travel out west. 3:30 game out there. So that'll actually be out there a 12:30 kick.
Yes. So your body clock will be all screwed up.
Yeah. I'll go give me Southern Cal in that one. Let's skip to the night game, the big one. Texas at Georgia. Again, that'll be 7:30 on ABC.
Steve Sarkisian has lost 5 games in the SEC since Texas joined the SEC. 1 to Florida this year, twice to Ohio State, and now twice to Georgia. For some reason, Kirby Smart has gotten the better of him. This game's in Athens. It's tonight. It's going to be a great environment. Texas is the second best run defense in the nation. Georgia runs the ball really, really well this year. They ran for 303 yards last week against Mississippi State. If Georgia can run the football tomorrow, they will have no problem. I haven't seen enough consistently out of Arch Manning. He's played better as of late, but I haven't seen enough consistently out of Arch Manning to think he goes in there and wins this game.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Georgia's actually starting to turn it on. And, Texas is teeter-tottering. They had those bunch of games where really they should have lost. Overtime against Kentucky, overtime against Mississippi State. I don't know. Texas just doesn't seem to have it quite right this year. I do think Georgia has turned a corner the way they beat Florida in that dogfight and then thumped Mississippi State. Gunnar Stockton seems to be coming into his own. It's going to be a rock fight, I think. It'll be low scoring. I'm going to go with you. I'm going to take the Dogs 24-17 in that ball game to get the job done for them and move on. And we'll see if that eliminates Texas also from the college football playoff. Should.
Probably should.
Yeah. 803-404-6100. There are our picks on some of the bigger games. We'll get that segment posted and put that up on the podcast so that you can hold us accountable. Hold us accountable. We got to come back and make a Louisville Clemson pick, too, to put that one out there as well. You're listening to Tyler Head, Bill Gunner, producer Ed Bird. It is the Halftime Show. final segment of the hour as we get you heading toward the weekend. Tyler Head, Bill Gunner. Again, reminder, tomorrow, 7 a.m., bright and early. Get yourself up, get yourself going, fix some coffee, grab a donut. Send Tyler a caramel latte. You can DoorDash it down here at 1301 Gervais Street as he and Terry will get you going with Gamecock Game Day. And then at noon, head on over to O'Hara's in Lexington. Check out the game. Little watch party taking place over there. You said the grilled chicken sandwich.
I enjoyed the grilled chicken sandwich. Listen, I think I've tasted about everything on their menu.
Okay.
French, or it's the Irish dip there because it's a Irish pub. But the Irish dip, a French dip, is my common go-to. I had the burger last time, always good. Chicken sandwich is good. The steel worker, where they kind of pile everything onto one sandwich, also very good. The fish and chips, a classic, of course. Irish classic, the pot roast. It's all good. I've not run anything that I did not like.
Good. Maybe grilled chicken sandwich. I threw out earlier in the program because I've been on a bit of a grilled chicken sandwich kick. What is the best grilled chicken sandwich out there? Tony and Gilbert weighed in with Cookout, the Cajun chicken sandwich.
Okay.
David went with Wendy's grilled chicken sandwich. Is good. Also, Mama Henry's in Lexington. Okay, I'll give Mama Henry's a shot there. We'll do that. I mentioned, and we kind of teased around it there, I should be punished. I should be forced to go sit in a corner or do something. I've built it up all week. I was going to pick South Carolina in the upset. And I've given the reasons why.
Yeah. No, I was fully prered to come in here and go like back and forth with you on why you think they'll win and why they may not.
I told you, Tyler, I'd rather be right. I'd rather be right.
Sure.
Even when I'm wrong, I'm right. Don't worry. I'm like Scarface.
Well, it's when you're wrong, it's not that you weren't right. It's that everybody else was just a little bit more right than you.
I can go with that. It's a fair assessment. Jeff said, I don't think punishment is required on this one. I agree that we have a chance to pull the upset, but we need a lot of help from the football gods. And that is true, too. You talk about two specific areas where you get help, Tyler. One, you got to win the turnover margin.
Yes.
Two, it doesn't have to be a punt return or something. But you got to do something on special teams, or you got to make sure you make some pivotal field goals if you have that opportunity.
I feel like I've been a broken record this year talking about the keys to the game for South Carolina. And almost every single game for the past 2 months, basically, I've said, your special teams and defense are going to have to find a way to either A, score you points by physically crossing into the end zone with the ball themselves, or just put you in ridiculously short fields where you can score. And you did that the other week where you had the muffed punt return or muffed punt that you recovered and set up the offense. Now it's kind of a continuation of a drive. So, but still, you gave your offense second opportunity with the short field. They punched in for a touchdown. Those kind of things need to happen more than once tomorrow, I feel like, if you're going to win this game against A&M.
It would be a great time for Vakari Swain to show back up and get himself a little punt return for a touchdown. Tomorrow would be a great time. Remember, we got the Lawyer Lisa contest.
That's right.
Still going on, the special teams contest. It looked like Lawyer Lisa and the crew were going to run completely out of money.
$900, by the way, if he does that and you're the winner.
Yeah, so go to 1075thegame.com. Get yourself registered. If you've already registered, you're good to go. But if you haven't, go back in and register. Go to 1075thegame.com. It's the Lawyer Lisa special teams contest. Again, if a special teams touchdown is scored, you could win all the money in the pot. That's $900. That'll buy you a good-sized turkey, maybe also buy you some Christmas presents for the family.
That's right, yeah. So have those fingers crossed, hoping Swain can turn on the match more. Or, hey, Nick Harbor on a kick return. That's something that I feel like we've been waiting on this year. There have been a couple instances where I was like, man, he maybe could have broken something there. Hasn't happened yet, but, yeah, something along those lines would certainly be welcome tomorrow if Carolina wants to pull off this upset.
Jay from the Interstate, we talked a little basketball earlier. Why is Cam Scott redshirting? I don't know the exact reason. I have theories. I have ideas. I'm not going to share them here.
Just going to assume his development wasn't where they needed to be.
Yeah, I mean, there's guys ahead. Those guards are ahead of him. That's about the easiest way to put it. Another texter weighs in. Nick, our good buddy, our rugby aficionado, Nick Stratton. For the record, I'm picking South Carolina 35-24, and I'm taking South Africa 49-14 against Italy in the rugby tomorrow.
Okay.
All
Take your word for it.
All right. If y'all are a bunch of, Brian Edwards didn't have the rugby bets out there, but if you want to follow our good buddy Nick, He's going big on South Africa.
You can bet on anything.
I do want to inform you, Nick is from South Africa, so it might be a little
might
bit
be a homer
biased.
pick.
Might be. 49-14 is what he got there.
Careful.
And Chris weighs in and says if Sacramento loses to A&M, there's still a path to the playoff in December 9th, SEC Titans. I think he's got that
If
flip
A&M
back.
loses to Carolina,
Yeah, I think he's got that.
He's right. There's still a path. Need a little bit of
No, he says there's appears to be a
That's right.
scenario of a 5-7 South Carolina backdoors a bowl game.
Well, it'd be from the APR academic ratings thing, but you don't want to rely on that.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
He's not wrong, but we'll just assume they wouldn't make it.
803-404-6100. We'll do another hour. How about one more? We'll do another. Hey, it is 2 o'clock on your Friday. Maybe for a lot of you, you're starting to call it a day. Just kind of check on out of the office there. Sneak on out, be like, I got to get the kids. Kids are in school. I got to get them. Maybe you got some. Maybe you got a sales meeting, and you're like, big sales meeting, 3 o'clock, boss.
Just tell them you're getting your Thanksgiving holiday started early. I know it's 2 weeks from now, but still.
Less than 2 weeks.
Less than 2 weeks, yeah.
803-404-6100. When do you buy your turkey?
Ooh, good question.
Help us out.
So I've yet to be in a position to have to buy the turkey for Thanksgiving, because typically, like, my sister, she has 2 kids. So we'll go over to her house.
Okay.
My dad typically cooks it, and my dad's like cooked turkey my whole life, so I've never purchased it myself. I'm assuming within probably about this time frame, if you haven't gotten it already, because you can stick it in the freezer, freeze it for a little while and keep it good.
That's my understanding.
Yeah, if not, maybe about a week before. You don't want to be that person that even like the day before, Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, you don't want to be the person at
you want to
whatever grocery store.
You want to brine it all week or something. You want to, and that's what I got to do. We got to do the barbecue cranberry sauce. We're gonna put it on the smoker again this year.
Yeah. You gotta have that thing prepped and ready. And look, there are plenty of people that you'll see in the store that are looking for it, asking for it, and you run a risk of them not being there anymore.
Yeah, I need to. When do you 803 help us out? Help us out here. 803-404-6100. I think Jay did some kind of bench cut start. Just goes to show Jay's got to get out there and cook a little bit more. But because I don't like a regular turkey anymore. Don't put it in the oven. I don't want an oven turkey.
Okay.
It's either smoked or it's fried. And I don't care which. They're both incredibly delicious.
I agree. Smoked and fried is better. I love turkey. Perhaps more than the average person does. Like, my go-to sandwich order at every place is usually going to be some kind of turkey. So I'll take it out of the oven. That's fine with me, but it does taste better smoked or fried.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, again, last year we did like a cranberry barbecue sauce that we glazed it with throughout the smoking procedure. I think we used the cherry and the apple. Maybe it was cherry and the pecan chips, and I got to look into that again this year and make sure that those are fully stocked for the Gunner household.
You ever had a job that's given you a turkey before Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one has actually before.
Oh, okay. I had that happen a couple years ago. I wasn't expecting it. I think
they gave us a gift certificate to Old Timey Meat Market that basically would have covered a turkey if you indeed.
Go to Old Timey Meat Market, get your turkey if you still need one.
That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going this afternoon.
Yeah, I think we'd already bought our turkey. Like, oh, hey, we got one for you. I'm like, okay, well, I guess we got an extra one for post-Thanksgiving turkey needs, I guess.
Chris says he bought them, plural, okay. Last week, IGA had him 29 cents a pound. He's in Elgin.
So who are we cooking for here? How many people? Is it the whole family, whole church? Said multiple.
Me?
No, him.
Oh, him? Yeah, multiple. I don't know. Or does he do a test turkey?
That's actually not a bad idea.
Turkey.
Listen, if you're experimenting with something, different rub, different way of cooking it, you don't want to mess that up on Thanksgiving Day. A practiced turkey is not a bad idea.
Yeah, depending on how the weather goes, I might pull that off tomorrow. I might go 2 turkeys. 2. Texter weighs in and says, I can't imagine that Bill is a turkey guy. I'm actually, I love turkey. He says, I think he's probably smoking something on the big green egg, drinking a bourbon, and looking out on the lake at Thanksgiving.
What makes somebody a turkey person? How do they look at you and say, no, I don't think he likes turkey?
I think, I can see that, where you look at you like more of a steak person, or I love seafood, crab legs.
Hey, look, I love those too. I'm going to go home and cook some steaks tonight, by the way.
Yeah.
But, I still love turkey.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I will say anything you can put on the smoker, a lot of what Skills wrote in there, he's right. Now, my bourbon consumption because of the kidney function, drastically down, unfortunately.
But in the past, that would have
he's right.
Described.
He's 110% right. And let me give an update real quick for those wondering, for those that don't know. We did the benefit golf tournament last week with the kidneys right now, and I said this I think a week ago or 2 weeks ago. If it wasn't for Dave and for Ed, but especially for Tyler, it would be a lot harder for me. I do now have an appointment with Prisma for December 12th to hopefully get on their kidney transplant list. I have one with MUSC for January, so there will be if you. I know the running joke. I think it was a joke. Maybe it wasn't a joke to y'all. It was a joke to me. Missing days. But remember, I worked like 2 straight years without missing a day. I was due days.
Yeah.
And our days don't roll over. They're not like
No,
cell phone minutes. Our days did not roll over.
I promise you, we did not make that joke when you were out for your kidney stuff.
Oh, thank you.
Though there was speculation in the beginning, but I did make it clear that you were dealing with some stuff.
But for 2 straight years, but for 2 straight years, I worked basically in some of the transition that we had on the morning show. I worked every day, and so therefore, I started to make up the days. But I have an appointment now with Prisma again for December 12th. That'll be an all-day thing. I'll be out on that day. I have an appointment with Charleston lined up in January. That'll be great, and we'll get on those kidney lists, and we'll kind of go from there, and we'll see what happens and how it all plays out. But for those of you, I don't like to talk about it very much. Kind of staying private about it. The more information I get, I'm kind of happy to share. But again, thank you to everybody who's reached out and been a part of that and really supported us through the golf tournament. 803-404-6100, a couple more of these. Texter, I buy my turkey the weekend before Thanksgiving from the Piggly Wiggly in Wagner.
Still good. Plenty of time.
Another texter says he bought his turkey last week, split in half smoke.
Okay.
Gonna need some more recipe on that. We got another Chris. Same Chris says cooking for 30. Oh, he bought 2. Cooking for 30.
Yeah, you're gonna need a couple turkeys for that.
Okay. Yeah, go get them on that. And then one more texter goes, big green egg for the win. You can even cook a pizza in it. My dad cooks a great brisket in the big green egg. I got a Rectech. I go Rectech, and we're pushing up on time for a new Rectech.
I don't have a big green egg myself. I've never been disappointed with food that's come out of one, though.
No.
Of other people that have cooked it for me, I've been very pleased.
My brother-in-law has a big green egg. I went Rectech. I'm a huge Rectech fan. I got like the little bullseye Rectech. It's fantastic. I do need to look this up, but I'm going to use our radio show to help for advice. How do people clean their Blackstone?
I've seen.
I need to do that.
I've seen like YouTube shorts on this.
And here's where I'm going with all this. Partially, we read the football schedule for the weekend.
Yes.
If you're going to College Station, man, you're in for a trip. I've been texting with John Strickland. John Strickland's going to join us next week. He's busy. I don't know where he put it on Instagram or where. He put a picture of food out. Oh, my goodness.
It looks like if you went on the website of any kind of great barbecue restaurant in Texas, it looks like exactly what they would show you on the website.
Oh, goodness.
And it's on his plate. Like, it looks gorgeous.
It wasn't on Twitter. I didn't see it on Twitter, but oh, my goodness, the barbecue he's having somewhere in Texas. And but if you haven't been to Texas, I will say this, and I thought about this, and we might do this later on. Texas A&M probably is my top 1 or 2 road trips in the SEC.
Really? Okay.
The more I thought about it, I'm getting a little envious of not going. If you're talking, because there's a little bit different. The trip to LSU is a blast, but you're incorporating New Orleans in there.
Sure.
Nashville, I don't know if you can count.
Nashville almost feels like cheating, right?
I don't know if you can count Nashville necessarily as a road trip. You do get to catch a football game. Now it's becoming a little more competitive, obviously. But to me, College Station, and we should get a trip back out there. What, Tyler? Probably 2028?
I think so, because they're on the schedule next year here. So, yes, I believe 28 you will go back. So, but 27 is where the consecutive streak against them ends.
Right.
And we'll have to retire what has become the greatest rivalry in college football if you've been keeping up with Twitter trends as of late.
I look forward to that segment next year when you can't talk about the Bonham Trophy. But Texas A&M, I'll tell you what, again, and maybe it's because they were beating us 30-0, and we had to kick 2 field goals to get to 6. By far and away, the most fun road trip I've had. Tailgating, the people were fantastic. The city, it's a Bryant, Texas, but it's College Station.
And they specify you have to call it Bryant College Station. Now, they don't like to be referred to as just College Station.
It's where we were able to walk from where we were tailgating with all the bars to the stadium, and there's more around the stadium. The stadium itself, like the LSU, my 2 favorite stadiums in the league is LSU, but that's old and crusty, and it's kind of down there, and the way it's set up, it's incredible. But it's a different kind of, you go in there and you feel like a little unsafe, quite frankly. You go into Kyle Field and you're like, oh man, this feels great. Like,
Yeah, well, and
this is comfy and nice.
I
And
mean, all their updates have been in the past basically decade because they were doing the renovations when Johnny was there.
Yeah.
So all their stuff is probably pretty up to date and new, and it looks like a fun time. Now, like city, like size wise, what do you compare Bryant College Station to?
I didn't do the whole thing, but you know what? I'd compare it as having been there a million times. Athens.
Okay.
Athens.
Yeah.
Probably a little slightly bigger than Athens, but you got to remember, and there's a neat story behind it. It was initially a train like station depot where they would drive. I can't remember the whole thing because this was 2019, but
Yeah.
there's some history behind it in terms of Texas and it being the train station and everything it was. It's worth it. I'll tell you, if you're looking for a place to go, get out there and check it out. Obviously, a little late today to travel to Texas A&M, but the next time South Carolina goes, which again we gauge to be 2028.
28. Yeah.
2028. I would make the trip. I'll definitely sign up for it if I'm healthy, if I can. 803-404-6100. That's how you can weigh in. We'll get back into some South Carolina, Texas A&M, what we think about this game. We need to make a prediction on the Clemson-Louisville game. We'll do that as well. You're listening to Tyler Head, Bill Gunner. He is producer Ed Bird. Captain Dave out today. You're listening to the Halftime Show. 12-17. 2-17.
Only 3 more segments, Bill. We're almost there. But your weekend's already started.
I feel great. I enjoyed last night. Alabama-Purdue was a great basketball game.
Mm-hmm.
I got hooked on some hockey last night, was watching that. Hurricanes did not play. Hurricanes got smoked the other night by Patrick Peretz Capitals. Didn't tweet. I didn't. I just stayed away from the tweeting, Tyler.
Probably smart.
Just don't. When there's nothing to say, don't say nothing at all.
I divulged into being the football sicko that I am by watching Troy get thumped by Old Dominion and watched.
How long did you watch that? Because all right, it's one thing. I'm with you. I understand. Hey, I'm what? At what point were you like, there's probably a good documentary on? Or
well, I kind of, and typically on Thursdays, I'm flipping back and forth between the Thursday night football game, which
I had Amazon Prime on.
And look, I like things being on Amazon Prime. It is, I get first world problems. It is a little tedious to take that extra step to get out of whatever app I'm watching a game on ESPN on, Spectrum or whatever, and then go to Prime, load that up.
Yeah.
It's not as easy to flip back and forth as opposed to when Thursday Night Football was on like the NFL Network. Okay, I'll just flip over to the NFL Network then.
How is the living room set up at the Tyler Head house?
I have one TV, like one just massive TV in the living room. I typically am second screening a game on my laptop or phone. Typically, though, especially on Thursdays, because Carolina calls ends at 8, so I have to splice all that up and kind of interject it into our shows and finish up things for Friday. I'm typically doing work while the game is on the TV or whatever.
Okay.
So if I'm in the middle of doing things, I don't like to overstimulate myself with multiple games.
No.
So it's like one game on. That way I can look up and kind of keep up with what's going on while I'm doing my work.
Oh.
So it is a flip back and forth type of thing.
It's the difference between you being married and me being fairly single. I pretty much have 2 TVs, and Austin's got 2 TVs in his room.
Uh-huh.
I've got 2 TVs in the bedroom. I typically have 2 TVs, if not 3, downstairs in the living room. The daughter is the only one because she only needs 1 TV.
I would say I don't know how many.
We got a
things she
TV
needs
in
to
the
double
kitchen.
Screen.
We got a TV in the kitchen, and technically, the way the condo's set up, at times that could make it 4 TVs within eyesight of.
I'm a very much like TV on my phone a lot kind of person. Like if I'm doing laundry, doing the dishes, like I'll have it. I'm carrying it with me as I'm doing things, so I can constantly be watching things and may have something on the TV in the living room or whatever. And it's not that my wife's opposed to a 2 TV. I've never brought it up. We have a TV that don't really use in the guest room. I don't know where I'd put it in the living room because that area is kind of small.
You got to have. I'll give you an idea. You got to go and we got the Black Friday sales coming up. You don't need a big one. I got 2 of the backup TVs are like 32 inches.
That's what we have. We have a 32-inch that we don't really use.
Yeah, easy to move. You just set it, plop it down. I can move it from room to room to room. I can put it outside. I can do all the pictures that I put on Twitter and or Facebook are typically. Now, I used to have a larger 50-inch. I got to get a new outside TV.
Yeah.
The other one disappeared. But we got to get a larger. I got to get a larger TV to put outside. But that's not till the spring. That's not till baseball season. It's too cold.
Sure.
Actually, it feels great to sit outside right now. But yeah, you got to have the 2 TV. But last night, Amazon Prime, Alabama, again, 7 o'clock, Alabama-Purdue was a national championship kind of game. I want to get to the football thing here in a second.
Yep.
I will just say this. We complain a lot we were starting to complain more about the neutral site games in football that take place, the Bank of Americas and the Mercedes-Benz and Arrowhead stadiums. And basketball's gotten to be the same way with the neutral site games. Now, I know this coming week we have the Champions Classic with Michigan State, Kansas, Kentucky, and Duke. And I think that's at Madison Square Garden. A couple weeks ago, you had Duke and Texas up in Charlotte at the Spectrum Center.
Was Arizona, Florida? Is that Vegas? They play in Vegas? They played somewhere.
Arizona and Florida was in Vegas.
Yeah.
And then you had Duke, Texas. And let me tell you, the home and homes, Kentucky, Louisville the other night, Kansas, North Carolina last Friday night, Alabama, Purdue last night. Home and homes.
Way better.
Money.
Because that's, and this extends past just college football and college basketball, but home environments are where you have your traditions. Everybody has a thing, right? And when you get to play these big matchups inside these home arenas, you get the things of what that fan base does. And, you get the cheering, the jeering, and all that kind of stuff. It just completes the atmosphere of college sports in general. And you can extend it into baseball and soccer and whatever other sports you want to use. But I will never, ever pick a neutral site regular season game over somebody having a home game ever, because home atmospheres are the best in all. And I usually talk about it from college football standpoint, but in all of college sports.
Yeah, no, I'm with. That's a discussion probably for us for a later time. Is these home any baseball? Throw baseball in there, but college baseball I don't know if we get as many. Well, I mean, we get some South Carolina, North Carolina, up in Charlotte or whatever.
And I like what they do with the Carolina Clemson series, where you have a home and home, and then you have a neutral site at one of at either here or up in Greenville. Like, those kind of things are fine because it is a little twist, and you still have the home atmospheres for each. But yeah, if you told me, hey, Carolina's going to go play Texas, and they're going to have a 3-game set at whatever the ballpark the Rangers play at now is, no, don't do that. Play at Texas.
I'd love to see South Carolina and North Carolina go to a home and home once a year, do a midweek game, home and home, or split it up. We'll talk more about that. By the way, tonight, not a great slate of college basketball games. You don't get a big one. You do have some good game. You have good teams in action. Duke plays tonight. Kentucky plays tonight. A few other teams. By the way, shout out this weekend, college football in-state game. Tyler, Wofford and Citadel.
Okay.
Wofford and Citadel. It means a lot.
Yeah.
It means more.
It does mean more.
Shout out Chris Gefford sending me that yesterday. South Carolina's got to go to Texas A&M. I feel like Tyler has been all on Texas A&M. There's no weaknesses.
Well, listen, every team has weaknesses.
Texas A&M is the most well-built college football team ever. Now, let's listen to Shane Beamer last night on Carolina Calls. He assesses. Here is Shane Beamer's assessment of Texas A&M. Here's what he had to say.
Just one a year older. You watch the tape. Now, they lost some really good players. I mean, you watch the NFL on Sundays, and you'll see a lot of guys that played on that A&M team last year. Certainly, when you look at the defense, they're all back. And they're better and really dangerous. Offensively, the quarterback is a year older. If you remember when we played them last year, they were kind of going back and forth between a couple quarterbacks, and they've settled on Reed, and he's dynamic, doing an awesome job. But then the weapons they have on the outside, and adding Craver, the receiver from Mississippi State, and then Concepcion, the receiver from NC State. Those two guys are real weapons, and that's where they're different. It's just not that they had bad receivers last year, because they didn't. But these two guys are electric and have really made their offense go. And then the quarterback's a year older and really playing well. And then what they're doing, I mean, they're doing what you have to do to win football games. They're not beating themselves. They don't turn the ball over. They don't give up sacks. They don't have tackles for loss, meaning negative plays on offense. And then defensively, they're great on third down. So they're doing the things you need to do to be successful.
One note to add from that last night, Texas A&M leading receiver Mario Craver. So far this year, leads the team in receptions at 46, leads the team in yardage, 775 yards, has 4 touchdowns. KC Concepcion has 8 total touchdowns, and he's still just as deadly as anybody. They're really a 2-man receiving group, Craver and Concepcion. But Craver is listed as questionable.
Yes.
He was put on the list last night. 46 receptions for him, against 775 in yards, averages 16.8 yards a catch, and has 4 touchdowns.
And Pete Nakos of On3 about an hour ago said he's going to be a true game-time decision coming up tomorrow, so we won't know his status until he either trots out on the field or doesn't. I did, and I know we're going to get some cuts from our guy from Rebel Yell yesterday. I did ask him about Mario Craver's status, and just to kind of put it in short here, he said in a manner of speaking, they may not want to play him to save him for more important games later. Unfortunately, Carolina's looked at a game where you don't need to have your leading receiver play, and they still feel like they'll be okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We might circle back to that comment. On the flip side of this is Jackson Callaway, Aggie Yell. He was on yesterday with Gamecock on the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour. So that was Shane Beamer, and now you've heard Tyler Head. There's no weaknesses. A&M's the perfect team. Jackson Callaway, on the other hand, he breaks down a few of the weaknesses. Here's what Jackson Callahan had to say yesterday on the Gamecock Takeover Hour.
Yeah, for me, I think two things stand out to me. And they're both on the defensive end. I think the interior, sometimes that they just allow bigger runs. I think overall they've done well they've played a lot of the conference's best backs this season. I mean, they've held them to respectable numbers, but there have been large breakout runs in each of those. But outside of that, they've been really, really solid. And in the secondary, I think that they're still Will Lee has had a little bit of a drop-off from last season. Des Ricks has actually taken a step up, but he is one of those guys that can get handsy at times, and it's kind of hurt A&M in terms of keeping hold of that momentum when you have them on 3rd and long and they take a deep shot drop, but there's a PI or whatever it may be. I think that those are two ways that A&M's kind of been hurt this year, and the defense has been great at times. I think the Arkansas game is a big thing for teams to look at in terms of what you can do against A&M, and we'll see if they use it this week, but I think A&M just continues to develop. They're going to be out their starting linebacker this weekend, Scooby Williams, so that may be also a weakness to watch.
And he's not wrong. Teams have been able to run on them. Missouri ran for 200 yards against them last week. But, again, we haven't seen Carolina's ability to really run on just about anybody this year. So I don't know if that starts tomorrow.
I don't think South Carolina's going to line up and all of a sudden magically run for 200 yards tomorrow. I do think they have more success. I'll have to look up and see what the highest yardage of the year was. Because, again, I'm predicting South Carolina to go over 350 total yards tomorrow in the game. Finally be able to do that. We're all going to be like, hey, I didn't know we were allowed to do that. Thought that was an NCAA rule that South Carolina's not allowed to do that. Nope, they are. We just haven't done it. 803-404-6100. You're listening to the Halftime Show. Bill Gunner for the Mortgage Guru, Jacob Crowder and First Palmetto Bank. Let me tell you, it's an interesting time with the economy right now and the housing market. Interest rates are kind of all over the map. You never know what you're going to get. What you should do, though, is call Jacob Crowder and find out what options are available to you. As we head toward 2026, you might be thinking about purchasing a brand new home. You might be thinking about building a brand new home. Maybe you want to refinance your current home, or maybe you want to do a little remodeling. Well, guess what? Jacob Crowder's there to help you. That should be your absolute first phone call before making any decisions. 803-719-1005. See what options are available for you with First Palmetto Bank and with Jacob Crowder. You make that phone call, then you know kind of what you're about to spend. So give the Mortgage Guru, who's helped tons of families, me included, a phone call today. 803-719-1005. Just about 20 minutes left in our program, and then I get a weekend off. Tyler gets stuck working tomorrow. But you love it.
Yeah, again,
You love it.
You do your work, you do your research. I can show you my notes for A&M for the week that I've been compiling all week long, so I'm ready to go for tomorrow.
Okay, there you go. So he's fired up. Make sure again you tune in tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, Gamecocks game day. It'll be Tyler and Terry, and they'll get you up and going. Fix some fix some bacon, some eggs, some biscuits. I recommend the biscuits from Old Timey Meat Market. They actually have great slices of bacon too, thick cut bacon. I could suggest going there. You said you wanted a steak tonight.
Yeah,
Recommend
doing
going there.
they are thawing in the fridge right now.
Delicious, absolutely. Do you marinate?
I do. So I'm gonna, because again, I put them in the fridge last night from the freezer. Go home, get them all prepped and ready, because my wife doesn't get home until between 5:30 and 6. A little bit of time to let them sit, soak everything in, and then it might be controversial. I air fry them. So we live in an apartment where I can't have a grill.
I'm not. That air fryer. I'm learning more and more. I've started air frying pizza.
Yeah,
I think I'm behind on that, but those air fryers, man.
Let me tell you, one of the juiciest steaks I've ever had have come out of the air fryer.
How long? What do you put it on?
I put it on 400, 6 minutes each side. It's a New York strip, so it's about roughly an inch thick. But yeah, you put whatever you want on it. One side 6 minutes, other side 6 minutes, and boom, ready to go.
There you go. Some cooking tips from the halftime show and Tyler Head. A couple of y'all continue to weigh in. I did get a very good text on how to clean my Blackstone. Thank you, Banks. I thoroughly appreciate that. That will be taken advantage of later this afternoon because I need to do that. Let me go back and read some of this. Nick weighed in and said, Bill, I'm with you. Rec Tech is the way to go. 2 Cajun injected turkeys for Thanksgiving every year. Jacob weighs in and says, never marinate a steak. Just put salt on it 5 minutes prior to grilling.
I mean, you can go either way. If you have like some Dales or something, that's a little splash of that's not bad. You know what? Like you can use it as kind of the binder to keep it on there. Because I typically, maybe not marinate's the right word, but I will put a little bit of oil on, salt, pepper, maybe some garlic salt if I'm feeling a little bit crazy. Let it sit for a little while and then cook it. Okay. That's my typical prep for a steak.
Okay. And then one more text says, no turkey. I always order a 8 to 10 pound baking chicken.
Okay.
There you go.
Sure.
Okay. Good deal. All right. 803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in on cooking tips and or anything for Thanksgiving. We're rolling right along, and I really do appreciate, again, Banks send in how to clean my Blackstone grill, and I will take that to heart tonight and get that done. Got to get the house a little bit cleaner. NFL this weekend. We talked a lot of college football. We've talked a lot of South Carolina. NFL this weekend, Tyler. I'm going to start you with a question here. Now, we had Eric Edholm on last week, and his power rankings, he had Seattle as the top team in the league. And if I'm being kind of honest, after watching Seattle last week, it's really hard not to say Seattle's not the top team in the league, right?
Correct.
Who would you have as number 2 right now?
It's actually funny you ask, because every single week, myself and Jack Veltri do our NFL top 5, bottom 5. So let me go reference my list from earlier on this week. And I actually had the Rams. Rams are my number 2 team. They took a good 49ers team to the woodshed last week. Matt Stafford in his last 3 games, 13 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's playing like a man possessed. Defense 4th in takeaways. Byron Young, by the way, coming off the edge, has already eclipsed his past season high sack total. So playing good in all facets of the game.
Okay.
And guess who the Seahawks are playing this weekend?
Rams.
The Rams.
Excellent. What time? I didn't look at this.
I think it's 4:25. Let me see. That is correct. No, 4:05. Close enough.
I'm hesitant to do this. I'm hesitant, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to be on the bandwagon. I'm jumping on. Maybe it was the uniforms. I'm not sure of it. Something occurred. Patriots.
As your number 2
Number
team?
2.
Now, are you considering the Seahawks number 1?
Yes.
Okay.
Love the Seahawks right now. They're just Sam Darnold's having. I like a good Sam Darnold. I love the storyline on him.
Oh, it's great.
I love the fact that's a great storyline. I'm going Patriots. Here's the problem with the Patriots. Have you seen who all they've beat?
It's not a murderer's row.
Not a murderer's row?
Not a murderer's row.
Understatement. Jets, Falcons, Browns, Titans, Saints, Panthers, Dolphins. That's 6 out of the. They do have a win over the Bills. They do have a win over the Bucks. Nice. They've got losses to the Raiders and the Steelers, both by 7 points. I'm impressed. Drake May. Drake May is impressing me. Maybe it was the uniforms last night. I'm not sure what it is. The Patriots are 9-2. They actually have the best record in the NFL in terms of wins. Drake May is completing 72% of his passes. He is thrown for just over 2,800 yards, 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That's not Matthew Stafford numbers,
but they're really good.
TreVeyon Henderson is carrying the ball like a madman. He's finally starting to get touches, 100 carries on the year, 492 yards. He's up to 5 touchdowns. Ramondre Stevenson is a very nice backup for them. I watched him last night. Stephon Diggs, Kayshon is it Boutte? Boutte. Two high-quality wide receivers. Man, I'm buying. And I'm doing well in the stock market, too, with it being down.
And you, like a lot of people, have brought up the quality of teams they've played.
That is the concern.
But winning 8 straight games in the NFL, I don't care who you are playing, is not easy. We have seen...
As the Bills.
Yeah, we've seen the Browns. We've seen the Panthers beat teams like the Packers. We saw the Dolphins, as you mentioned, beat the Bills last week, and anybody can beat anybody on a given Sunday or Thursday or Monday in the NFL. So winning 8 straight games, no matter who you're playing against, is very, very impressive. And the Bills better be careful because the Patriots might get a little too far away from them in this AFC East race. They got another game to play against them, but they need to get it together, or else the Patriots are going to be forcing the Bills to play in the wild card round.
The Patriots, their schedule breaks beautifully. I mean, beautifully for this time of the year. They got through the Thursday night game. They come off of the Tampa Bay game, which was a great game. They get through Thursday night. Thank you, Jets, for being the opponent. 27-14. You get the extra 2 days to rest. Then you get the Bengals in Cincinnati. Should win that one, technically. NFL, never say never. Then you get Monday Night Football. You get an extra day of rest.
Sad from one perspective on who they're playing.
And you get the Giants. You got the Bengals and the Giants coming up, and you're on rest. Then you get a bye week. And then you face Buffalo on Sunday, December the 14th, and you finish out with Buffalo, Baltimore, another one against the Jets, the Dolphins. I mean, that schedule essentially is set up to be, 14-3? Knockout Cincinnati, New York. They're 9-2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 13-4. I'm sorry, 13-4. Now, again, Miami beat Buffalo. Anything can happen in the and the Saints beat the Panthers last week.
This is a Patriots team that should have no problem winning 12 to 13 games. Like I think they should get there pretty comfortably. Again, you can always trip up, and again, playing the Bills, playing the Ravens, it's not going to be easy. But those other games outside of that, they may drop one, but I think you should be able to manage those games fine.
Real quick, buy or sell. Buy or sell. Green Bay Packers.
I'm selling right now.
5-3-1
also,
right now.
A lot of rumors about Matt LaFleur's future right now. Things getting a little testy up there.
Loving the Packers. Love the Packers, but 5-3-1 right now is where they stand. And the loss to the Eagles really hurt at home. Should have won that game. So that's kind of where we stand in terms of the NFL playoffs, or excuse me, the NFL and the playoffs. We'll come back. A'ja Wilson, she's got a new shoe. She talked about it last night. We'll let you hear a little bit of late night talk show. I know a lot of y'all didn't stay up and listen. We'll give you some audio. You're listening to the Halftime Show. Wrapping it up, man. Wrapping it up. Big weekend plan. I was thinking about maybe heading up to Cherokee on Sunday. Test my look on the slots machines there. Tyler Head. Little blackjack, little slots. Sports book with some NFL.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Might put some social media videos out and go up there and see. Sportsbook, watching football up there, if you have an away game, it's a lot of fun. And so I might make a little trip up to Cherokee. Happy birthday to a good buddy of mine, Charles Cox. If you see him out there, you can't miss him. He's tall. And wish him a happy birthday. I think he might have already hit the road to head on up there, but happy birthday to old Charles.
I got to ask, and sitting in a sports book, especially during football, have you seen anybody crash out really bad when a bet's gone the other way?
Oh, yeah.
Like when you have a worse story?
We were up there last year. We were up in January for Baltimore and was it Buffalo when Mark Andrews dropped the...
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I
could see how that
I don't gamble that kind of money to have that kind of. Let me just say, I get upset. When I lose money gambling, I get upset because I lost, not because of the money. It sounds stupid.
Sure. Well, hey, again, PSA: if you don't have the money to lose, don't gamble.
I don't like to lose, and that includes like even a $25 bet. I don't. This was a little bit more, but yeah, there was a group of guys who handled it very poorly. Let's just go with that.
Were they asked to leave?
No, everybody understands. They also weren't given free drinks anymore. Anyway, 803-404-6100. Several of y'all weighing in. How about this? I didn't know about this.
Sure.
Texter weighs in and says, a steak sitting on the counter all day, Applewood salt. I didn't know there was such a thing as Applewood smoked salt.
Sure.
Let me know where I can locate this. Is it a Food Lion or Bilo or Publix? Or I go somewhere. Applewood smoked salt, garlic, and pepper.
Sounds pretty good. Again, I didn't know the salt existed, but sure.
I'm going to try and pronounce this correctly and not like the nasal congestion. Allegro marinade. This comes from Tony and Gilbert. Allegro marinade and Uncle Chris's steak seasoning, melted butter right before the steak comes off. And then I had
I do like the melted butter. I'll do that.
I do that. Brandon hit me up on Twitter and said, have you tried the Allegro on steaks? So now I'll be giving that a shot here in the very near future. A couple other texts to come in. I did not know this. I was unaware of this. Jason says, I was a meat cutter for years, and one of the juiciest and best ways to cook a steak is to let it sit at room temperature for a couple days.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
He says, so that it will marinate itself. It starts out bright red when it's first cut, and then it turns brown. It's not going bad. It's marinating itself. 2 days later, you put it on the grill, and it will melt in your mouth.
See, I don't trust myself long enough to leave a steak at room temperature.
Sounds risky. Jason says, make sure to add some pineapple juice to your steak marinade. You'll thank this fat man later.
I got to go to the store before I go home now to get all this new stuff.
Another texter says pineapple juice. Anyway, that was another texter that said that Jason was the meat cutter. A few more, and then I want you to listen to this. Russ weighs in, old-timey meat market on the Applewood smoked salt. Definitely going to try that. 803-404-6100. Asia Wilson has a new shoe. She was on Jimmy Fallon last night. They celebrated it. Here is Asia Wilson on Jimmy Fallon.
You have your own signature Nike.
Yay!
These are rad. Woo. All right, this is the Nike A1.
Yes.
Talk to me about this, and what a dream this is. I mean,
oh my goodness.
When you were 8 years old dribbling down the wrong thing, you go, wait, one day I'm gonna have my own Nike signature shoe? Kids and adults, everyone's gonna be wearing my sneakers. They'll be wearing your shoe.
I know, it's incredible.
Talk to me about what it went into. These ones are the candy corn, by the way.
Yes, so Halloween's my favorite holiday. Do I have any candy corn lovers?
Really? That's a lot.
Yes, and so a lot of people judge us for loving candy corn, but I don't care. Judge me all you want, they're good.
Yes.
So good that I had to make a shoe out of
You
them.
love candy corn?
I love candy corn.
Really?
And it's like not just Halloween. Like I will eat candy corn for February. Like give me that as Valentine's Day candy.
Really? You said everything, every detail you looked into all this. You go, no, I want this.
Yes.
Even right here, you designed that.
Yes.
You designed the look and
The inside of the tongue has some of my tattoos. That's saying for my mom. This is my mom's kind of tattoo. It's kind of like the maternal, like, you know, all that. And this is also for my dad. So I have both of these tattoos on the back of my arm. And so this kind of is just giving them back. They've sacrificed so much for me. So if I can pay them back in my shoe, I'm so grateful for that.
Good stuff from her.
Very cool.
All right, your pick for tomorrow?
Texas A&M 34-17.
Wow, what a non-homer! I tell you what, guy never has any belief in South Carolina. I picked Texas A&M 28-24 all week long. Louisville, Clemson tonight.
Louisville
No score.
30-21.
28-24, I think, also for Louisville. Y'all have a great weekend. I'm going to some food store, Old Timey Meat Market.